And I think when we're talking about politicization of all these agencies, this does not look good for people that think that these agencies are being politicized. Lindell is one of the most prominent purveyors of the election stolen claims. And to many people, this is about his First Amendment rights and his opinion that the election was stolen, and it looks very political. I mean, obviously there's another side to it, and there's many people that might say that there's very serious underlying crimes that are legitimately being investigated. But I think that the optics are very concerning in some ways.
You're right, which is why I was kind of freaked out and couldn't understand why Mike Lindell himself decided to put it out all over the news. I don't know that anybody would have known about it at the Hardee's drive-thru. And then he held up a letter on his TV show. This is a copy of it right here. And it's a letter that's from the FBI and the Department of Justice saying, I'm going to paraphrase. It says, please, don't discuss this publicly. We can't stop you from speaking publicly, but we would kindly ask that you don't jeopardize further investigations by discussing this publicly. And if you can't follow those orders, please contact us, which he did not do. And he showed the letter and told everybody about the arrest. It's weird, Dan, that he would do that, because I think it would have gone under the radar and wouldn't have been politicized if he hadn't done it.
I doubt that. I think he was gonna publicize it. And to your point, there's nothing illegal for him sharing his encounter with the FBI at the Hardee's. He did get a letter, and that's pretty standard, where they will ask witnesses, not to discuss the investigation because they don't want to jeopardize, the furtherance of their case. But as far as in the Hardee's parking lot, that may have just been a judgment call by the agents. They potentially may have seen him with the phone in his hand and decided, hey, let's get it right now while we've got an opportunity to do that. But I agree with Katie. It doesn't look good.
Right. He said he uses his phone for everything. He said he doesn't use a laptop or a computer, that everything's done on the phone. I think he was very upset. He lost his, functionality in business. So Katie, Tina Peters. This is the lady that apparently they had a lot of questions for. They were asking Mike Lindell about this woman, Tina Peters, and if she looks familiar or sounds familiar, even if she doesn't, here's the story. She is a county clerk in the state of Colorado. She was indicted in March on charges that she helped outsiders come in to an elections office and copy sensitive data from the Mesa County elections system. So connect the dots for me as to MyPillow and a lady in Colorado where there is this very serious investigation with visual evidence that she ushered them all into the office.
Well, of course, that's connected because these voting machines that this woman is accused of or charged with tampering with were the underlying conspiracy theory about part of the election stolen claim. So obviously the feds seem to think that Lindell has a connection to this woman and maybe tried to get some of this information. And that is the obvious justification for serving him with this warrant. But again, these are people that genuinely, if not mistakenly to others, believe that the election was stolen. And that again gets into the question of, is this political or criminal?
Okay, one last question, and it's a legal one, Dan, and this is always the fun game I like to play. There's, people think right away, oh, well, for gosh sake, it's probably like these messages that he might have had. Even if he had them, he'd have deleted them. They'll never see them. And it goes deeper than that. Like when investigators sees a phone, they're not just looking for what you have on it. Sometimes they're looking for what you've taken off of it because they have a copy of it somewhere else. So you could be actually, further charged with obstruction of justice. Even, and you have to correct me on this one if I'm wrong, even if you have not been told to protect records. Sometimes the guilty party is wiping out stuff because they don't want to get caught. They don't have to be told not to wipe out stuff to get in trouble for wiping out stuff, correct?
Yeah, that becomes a difficult case sometimes to prove, whether they know there's an ongoing investigation. But it is something that will probably be an issue with a lot of these phones that were seized over the last week or so. And the other point I'd like to make is, a lot of people are under the misconception that when they delete something, it's gone. And I've had a lot of cases on this side as a defense attorney where the government is able to retrieve it. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's the best and brightest.
I know. It's always the murder cases, though. They have the time and the stamp of the text message, but sometimes they don't have the actual text itself, unless they got the other person's phone and got the text off the other person's phone, which when you're in an interview and they ask you about it, you don't know they might have it. So don't lie. Don't ever lie to the police or the FBI. It's the dumbest thing ever. But I'm so glad that the two of you are here. Katie and Dan, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.